Hey everyone, and welcome back to another World of Warcraft Legion Alpha video. Today, we have got something that is rather odd, a little bit insane, definitely quite fun, and, well, a bit out there to talk about. This is with the Outlaw Rogue, though even if you don't really intend on playing a rogue, I think it's a really interesting and kind of fun topic. So, this serves as my spec update to the Outlaw Rogue. If you haven't already seen my Outlaw Rogue video, probably worth checking that out. It's pretty much the same basic idea. Essentially, energy is your resource. You spend that on the likes of, say, Saber Slash, which generates you combo points. You use those combo points on something like Run Through, which is basically Eviscerate, but with a different name. Now, where this gets cool is Roll the Bones, and I should quickly also just say that there is a chance for Saber Slash to proc like a second strike, and when it does proc a second strike, you get a free pistol shot. Pistol shot does a little bit of damage and gives you 1 combo point. Now then, the whole meat of this video, and the really interesting, I mean pretty damn awesome, but a bit weird thing is Roll the Bones. So this costs 19 energy, and I'm going to go up here and show you what it does without explaining it to you, and then I'll explain it to you. So there you go, I've got my 5 combo points, we've just rolled the bones, and whoa, what is this? A whole bunch of dice have just fallen down, and I've just got broadsides. Your attacks generate 1 additional combo point. So let's read the text. A finishing move that rolls the dice of fate, providing a random combat enhancement lasting longer per combo point, and it costs 19 energy. Now here's what's really cool about Roll the Bones, and I'll just do it again here. It actually rolls 6 different dice. Now, it pretty much, from what we can gather, and from an extremely interesting Reddit post and some analysis and a few other things, it rolls 6 dice, and it can give you a total of 6 different buffs. Now, here's the interesting thing about it, and this is the distribution of those buffs. There is according to this Reddit post, and credit to a user called Hunvi, who pointed it out, but you've got a 1.5% chance to get all 6 buffs. You've got a 3.8% chance to get 3 buffs. You've got a 35.2% chance to get 2 buffs, and a 60% chance to get 1 buff. Now, what are these buffs? Well, you've got Jolly Roger. Jolly Roger is a bit boring. It just heals you for 3% life every second, so super good for the defensives, but not really that interesting. We then have Grand Melee. This is a weaker version of Slice and Dice, essentially. Slice and Dice is actually available as a talent if you want to opt out from all this RNG craziness. Now, the only difference is the Grand Melee is a 40% increase to your attack speed, down from 100. Shark-Infested Waters increases your crit by 40%. Yep, 40, I know. Madness. We've got True Bearing. This reduces the remaining cooldowns of your skills by 3 seconds per combo point that you spend on a finisher. I'll show you what that's like in a bit, but essentially you're using a Marked for Death like you're using one of these every 10 seconds. It is absolute madness. And I say madness in the fun sense of the word. We then have Buried Treasure. This increases your energy regen rate by 40%. And finally, then there's Broadsides, which you saw, which gives you increased combo point generation from your different abilities. Now, here's the thing about Roll the Bones. It's mega RNG. And the big question is, at what point should I use Roll the Bones again to get a different buff or try to get more buffs? Now, from the maths that I've read, it seems like you are pretty much good just to hit Roll the Bones for its full duration, unless you get the self-heal from Roll the Bones. If you get the self-heal, it actually is worth using Roll the Bones again and trying to get something different. But let's just chill out and go in here. Now, I have, my mouse cursor's active, and I'll be playing this slowly at some point so we can look at the buffs and see how that informs our gameplay. So, I'm going to run in here, we'll start Saber Slashing, just got a free pistol shot, and we're now at the stage where I've got 5 combo points. I do have the Anticipation talent, as you can see, so I can take up to 8 combo points. And there you go, 8. So, let's use Roll the Bones. What have we got? Okay, we've just got Grand Melee. I'm attacking 40% faster. Now, that does mean that you can proc. I think there's a chance, like when your offhand hits a target, you can proc a free 18 energy. So this does increase the pace of gameplay quite a bit. Let's just Roll the Bones again, though. This time, we have got Shark-Infested Waters and Broadsides. Now, the pace of the gameplay, because of Broadsides, is a lot faster. Now, especially, when we're getting, say, a proc of Blunderbuss there, boom, we're back up to 5 points again. and this makes it quite fun and quite reactive. Now, if you, as an example, have increased energy generation and you're getting all these extra combo points, then the skill in this spec actually comes into hitting the right button, which is easy enough, granted, but at a fast enough pace so that you don't max out resources. You get to the point where you're getting so much energy coming in where it's reasonably tricky to spend all of your combo points without capping your energy at 100 and therefore not being that efficient. Let's roll the bones again. This time we've got, oh yeah, we've got True Bearing and Jolly Roger, but True Bearing is so cool. So this reduces my cooldowns based on using combo points. So I've just marked for death, 60-second cooldown. Sorry, 44-second or 45-second cooldown. Let's just do Adrenaline Rush. Go absolutely ham. As you can see, with Adrenaline Rush, I've just got so much energy coming in. And boom, look at that. We can already mark for death again. Now it's back to a 20-second cooldown. This is absolute madness. Now it's at a 1-second cooldown again, so I can't effect this up. But you see what this is like? Oh, Adrenaline Rush is back again. I mean, this is, as far as gameplay pace goes, you guys know, I generally speak well of a spec when it allows for a fast pace of gameplay. Oh yeah, I've got Mark for Death again. So, you know, Insanity, it's now back down to 30 seconds on its cooldown. Unfortunately, we've just ran out of True Bearing, but I really wanted to show you that in the video, just for the madness that ensues once you use it. Basically, it transforms the spec into really, using your cooldowns right. Now, it doesn't actually apply to Curse of the Dread Blades, which is here, which is your artifact weapon skill. But that's fine. Let's roll the bones again and see what we get. Alright, True Bearing and Shark-Infested Waters. So here what I'd say is, just look at the amount of damage that I'm dishing out here. So we've just Adrenaline Rushed, and I mean, if you look at how fast my cooldowns are going down, I can actually already mark for death again. A lot of this video is just going to be me running through the RNG and reveling in how insane it is. Now, of course, there is a very valid discussion to be had about this RNG in the gameplay. Right now, I'm just kind of having fun with it, but obviously there are some gameplay concerns there, and I will cover that once I've finished playing around with this and seeing if we get any absolutely crazy combinations. So let's roll the bones again, see what we get. This time it's just Grand Melee. How sad. Let's roll the bones once more. This time, yeah, we got True Bearing again. I think True Bearing might be the most interesting of them all, simply because of how much more relevant it makes your cooldown usage. Which really is quite cool. I should also turn off Blade Flurry. A bit silly of me. Yeah, so it's certainly a bit of an out there thing, and really balancing this is going to be quite tricky. Now, I can't show it to you because I haven't had it happen to me since the first time that it happened, but at one point, I quite literally got that 1% roll I talked about earlier and had every single buff on at once. It was absolutely bonkers. It was impossible to spend all the energy that I was generating. Yeah, it was absolutely mad. If that happens in a raid context and you're on the pool, right, and you got heroism and all those things up, you're going to get a world first, assuming you've got some high-end gear. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Anyway, that's one more, and then we can get on to the actual discussion. Actually, yeah, so here I've just got, I'm attacking faster and I'm generating energy faster. So, yeah, pretty damn fast pace. Now then, we do need to talk about the actual game design stuff here and what this is like for raids and all of that, because obviously a big topic of discussion in the World of Warcraft community, and quite rightly so, has been the degree to which Blizzard have been putting RNG into the gameplay of the various different specs. Now, it's at the stage where, for an example, in Warlords of Draenor, if I'm getting unlucky procs with my, with my aim shots, cheap, free aim shot thingy, whatever, on a pull for a fight, I'm really sad because I'm losing out on a lot of DPS. Well, with Roll the Bones, it's like that times 10. I mean, if you are pulling a boss, heroism's up, your trinkets have popped, and you get the self-heal, you're not going to be that pleased. But what this does do in terms of the gameplay flow is it allows for just this pace that is always changing, that's always asking you to react and changing up how your resources play. Here's the thing, you got two resources, right? Energy and then your combo points. the effect of Roll the Bones is that the interplay between these two and the rate at which either of them generate is constantly changing in terms of their relative balance with each other, which changes what it feels like to play the spec. And I think that is a really, really powerful bit of design, and it can be quite fun. However, big raid problem, big balance problem as well. It's tricky. And then, of course, there's also the concern, at what point do you want to re-roll your Roll the Bones? If you only get one buff from this, will you want to re-roll it to get two? How will that math out? And indeed, will it be so much maths that it ends up being a cool game design that's one that's not particularly feasible? Especially since we can just pop into our talents here, pick up Slice and Dice. I'll go in here and I'll show you what it feels like with Slice and Dice. What I will say is, it feels less interesting, less fun. To be completely honest with you, it feels like a slower spec that is just, less engaging to play overall. Which kind of, it's a pity. I mean, right now I'm having so much less fun, and it's actually so much easier to play with Slice and Dice because you don't have, you're not really monitoring as much. You don't have to think, when you get that one which decreases the cooldowns of your various different cooldowns, right? When that happens, you got to think about your cooldown usage. There's a few times where I was using marked for death when I had 2 combo points. Wasn't optimal. So there's a lot more thought and skill, I think, that goes into playing it with some of the gameplay that's going on from Roll the Bones. And of course, Roll the Bones, it's also going to affect the cooldown of, say, Death from Above. Imagine that. You would almost be able to... Actually, yeah, you'd be able to just chain Death from Above into Death from Above constantly due to Roll the Bones. All this madness is going on with Roll the Bones. And I suppose I almost wonder that it might be a really cool idea that might not make it into the game. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Based on reasons exterior to gameplay. And this is one of the harder things about MMORPG game design. If you're designing a single-player role-playing game, you don't as much have to worry about balance. I mean, you do, but not as much. And that means you've got so much more freedom to do things like Roll the Bones, which end up being crazy. But of course, this is an MMORPG, and who knows what way it's going to pan out for Blizzard. I'm honestly not sure what to say about my feedback, because I haven't done this in a raid context. My feedback for them is this. I think the gameplay is a bloody blast. It's really fun. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. There is something to react to all the time. You've got a really cool graphic. Loads of stuff that's really cool, and I've got a feeling that there's somebody in Blizzard and Roll the Bones has just been their pet project, and they absolutely love it because there's a feeling that love has went into this thing. It's got this really cool animation, some fun buffs. I suppose I'm really rambling at this stage. This is most of what I want to say, and I can't really come to a complete conclusion or decision about how I think this should be. Other than I think I'm happy with it being an option because it is extremely fun. I don't know whether it should be the baseline option. Now, this is actually a baseline ability. Normally, you would have thought that Slice and Dice would be your baseline, and then Roll the Bones with all its insanity would just be a talent that they whack onto the talent tree for fun. Certainly, I think leveling one of these up with Roll the Bones is going to be an absolute blast. It's going to be a lot of fun to play, which is really good. So yeah, I wonder, maybe Roll the Bones will just be relegated to an optional talent. Maybe it'll be competitive, maybe it won't be. If it is competitive, I definitely foresee a lot of people who main rogues maybe not enjoying it for a raiding context. Again, we're going to have to wait and see. My feedback is keep it as an option somehow because I think it's really cool, but there is a balance concern. There is an RNG concern. I guess this is one of the few times where I feel like, from a gameplay perspective, it's working on a very fundamental level really, really, really well due to this RNG. But how's it going to work into a raid? We will just have to wait and see. They're constantly iterating through stuff. Likely, this will see some heavy changes by the time it makes it in-game, and I imagine those changes will involve the balance. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they removed the self-heal from it and just put it on a cooldown and made it give you only one of those buffs. I think it could end up just being something like that. Certainly, I think the idea of the buff from this that decreases your cooldowns based on the number of combo points that you spend, I think that's actually a really cool gameplay design, and perhaps that's something they could expand as just its own mechanic in this spec. I know it's, you know, been in specs before, but yeah, it's just really strong. So there's my feedback on this interesting thing. I really am keen to see what the comments are like for on this video. I've got a feeling there'll be a lot of split opinions, but it'll be cool to see. But that's it from me, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.